hope. Okay, so wait a minute. So I got to answer why I changed the helmets. And then 144 D Rock, are you investing in the company or you're starting to get on there and actually put some money in? So I realize like I'm spotlighting these two helmets. It should be the two helmets that like speak to me. Brady and Heavy D and Sean John, they all come in. They're like, who is this dude? I want them to see like, all right, maybe he's a Coug. Did he play for the Saints? What's up with the Saints helmet? I love the Browns helmet. Like I got to get a Lions helmet, but what do you think? I thought it was smart marketing to some extent to get those out there. So D Rock says he's starting to put money into DraftKings. You know, I like it as like a investment hobby game, something to entertain. B Patrick, go Cougs. So if you're looking at investing in the stock, I am all about that because I'm not saying go crazy and get in all in, but DraftKings is going to be one of those things that absolutely is going to benefit from this crisis. You look at where people have gone, where people are moving. It is just one of those elements that is going to benefit from the chaos. We're all sitting at home. A lot of people, if you can get into gaming, kind of companies and things like that, video games have been soaring and taking off, and I just don't see them coming down anytime soon. So, you know, that being said, you always got to worry about valuations. I don't know if y'all saw Airbnb IPO'd, which is initial public offering. Speaking of an individual stock, which we're going to learn about today, they IPO'd and it soared. And it soared so much that very quickly Airbnb, which neither here nor there, was valued at more than the next three hotel chains combined. And it's like, all right, so maybe we need to do a little bit better paying attention about what exactly is happening in the market. And a lot of people getting really excited, but you got to put a hold on a sec. So, John Kim says your friend and podcast guest Chase Daniels might be starting for the Lions this weekend. Yo, Chase, much respect. Guy's a hustler. He had a great college career that went undrafted and is stuck around. I think he's in his 12th year. About his 12th year as an NFL quarterback. He's made an exorbitant amount of money for, being a backup, but it's because he has this. He understands his job. He understands how to add value, and he's one of the best backups in the game. It'll be good to see him get some work this weekend. Well, I'm doing both. All right, D-Rock, get in there. Saw you play at Martin many times. B. Patrick, Martin Stadium's a good place to go see a game. Wish we could get back there, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. See if the Cougs kick off on Sunday. They got a curveball game going against Utah. My son is a college quarterback at a D2 school. How can he get exposure, and how can he start investing? I'm going to take the investing piece first because today is a topic about investing. First off, would love your son, especially being a college student, to go through the course, Money Vehicle. If you'd like the book, that's also a good recommendation. But how to start investing when you're young, I would hook him up with Acorns. You can, if he's making a little side income, he could also open up a Roth IRA account, which would be the best way to begin his investment vehicle and best way to start to look for his future. But as he opens up Acorns, as he opens up an investment account, hopefully it is a Roth account, you start to measure. I want to measure your security, your portfolio, how you're going to go about investing, along with this idea that we also have to make it engaging, entertaining. If it's not enjoyable, they're not going to do it for very long. So I would measure it this way. I would always have at least half, if not 75%, in secured index funds. Maybe, 30% in a global index fund, 30% in the S&P 500. That will give them some stability. And then with the other 30%, I know 30 is not 100. But with the other 30%, he's a college student. Ask him what company he likes, what he uses, where is he at each and every day. Tell him to begin to look at investing in those things. Same goes for everybody on here. If we really want to make an investing decisions of a good part of our life, it cannot just be boring, set it and forget it. If you have that itch, if you are the kind of person, I'm a little bit more like this, where I am comfortable looking at the market this year and being like, oh, it crashed and then it came back and now it's crushing. But none of it really bothers me because I don't want to be in it every day. That is a beautiful thing. We showed the Wall Street articles yesterday about the idea that passive is beating active once again. So, how you can get in, one, you got to make it entertaining, two, you got to make it engaging, and then you got to give them the education, which is what we're here to do. I apologize if you see my knuckles. So, I got new boxing gloves. Boxing's never something I've really done before, but being at home, I got a heavy bag, said, let's go. And they cut up my knuckles, but it was good. It was kind of like he let some aggression out. It felt good. So apologize if it looks kind of like I didn't get in a bare knuckle brawl or anything like that. Just new gloves that apparently I got to learn how to punch. So one, love that you as his father are interested. Yes, Jason Miller. I did get to play next to Jerome Harrison, aka the Ghost. One cool part about being in my kind of position in college is we were actually roommates on the road. And JC and I, we got to be pretty close. I also got to be back with him in Cleveland for the Browns, which was a cool kind of reconnection there. How many concussions have you got over your career? Kyle Barner. Kyle, and does it worry you as you get older? Kyle, it looks like, how old are you, Kyle? One, didn't even warm up to it, just went right for it. I'll accept it because it is a common question, and it is one, I'm sure 803 Hunt is curious. Hey, has this guy been knocked in the head before, or where's his mind? So concussions documented, I had about 4. Depends on what your definition of a concussion is, though. The definition of a concussion in like a medical journal is the bruising of the brain. And I've had a couple doctors say, if you ever see, white spots after a hit, you had a concussion, a mild concussion. I said, Doc, don't tell me that. I mean, that's every game, multiple times a game. That my job was a fullback. I was a linebacker in high school. I was a tight end. Like, I hit people. And so that's not a great measurement. What I will say is this. Your brain, your mind is the most powerful muscle in your body. And it has the ability to rebuild itself, rehabilitate itself. We didn't used to think so. This is a newer science and a newer discovery that says the neuroplasticity of your brain can change on a daily basis. Why people are meditating is because they found that neural connections can be regenerated through meditation. Why I got into meditation while I was playing was I found military people who had brain trauma started to practice it and had seen positive results. I also got into creatine to retain water and some other supplements that were supposed to protect your brain. Then you got to be proactive and reactive. Proactive is read, study, learn, keep that brain stimulated. A lot of the reason why athletes have a tough time is not just because of concussions. Concussions are a big deal, but because their transition, they get lost, their identity gets lost, they become depressed, they become dependent on a substance. That leads to their downfall. So it definitely has something to do with concussions, but it also has a lot to do with some other avenues and things. So good question. I had a couple concussions, but I'm living proof that, they didn't knock all the sense out of me. And am I worried about it down the road? Hell yeah. I know. I understand what it is. As any disrespect. No worries. I know you're a really smart guy. I was just curious. Yeah, Kyle, it's a good question. And you know what, man? No disrespect whatsoever. I want this to be open community, open forum. Let them fly. Football, finance. Let's get some, particulars. Let's go. I just got to grade my final exam for my college class this semester, which was kind of cool. Thoughts on moving retirement funds from the government, TSP, to lifetime annuities? So this is a thrift savings plan, I believe is what you're referring to. in the financial world as an advisor, I was never a big believer in annuities. What an annuity is a exchange. There's an opportunity cost. Snap. I remember that from a couple days ago. There's an opportunity cost to annuities. So what an annuity is saying is, B. Patrick comes to me and says, listen, I got some money, but I don't like risk. I don't want to take it on. I don't, the market does this. It's weird. It's crazy. Will Jed, I as B. Patrick, Jed, will you pay me an annuity, a set amount of money, but I want it each and every year? So let's say I have, round numbers, $100,000 or $1 million. And I, as the annuity, say, okay, for your $1 million that I get to use, I will pay you, $50,000 a year for the rest of your life, something like that. What it is saying is you are willing to accept that guaranteed payment of the annuity for the rest of your life, that $50,000, knowing me as the investor, as the company, is first going to charge you fees. Like there are going to be fees associated to that annuity. But secondly, I am going to take that $1 million and go try to make more than the 50,000. That is the only really the measurement for me. Is one, you're going to be paying me for the annuity. That's part of the deal. But the big upside is I can now take it away and begin to try to make more on it. So do I love the idea of transitioning to more lifetime annuities for the masses? Sure. I think pensions and annuities and Social Security are great in theory, great ideas, but they are massive liabilities. They are huge liabilities because pensions and annuities don't care if you are having a bad year. You're having a good year, you're having a bad year. I still want my payment. That is the difference. So why companies went away from pensions is because of that liability. Why I'm not psyched about, big institutions going back to that kind of format is because, again, diversification, one fell swoop can wipe it all away. And then not only a few people, but millions, hundreds of thousands of people don't get their payments. So that's a big concern. My cousin, Jason Miller says, my cousin took Dynabol and was a huge linebacker. Brett Favre was addicted to pills. So I didn't take supplements like that. I'll be the first to say, I wish I took more to make me faster. But yes, there's a lot of that kind of stuff flying around. People get into it. People get addicted to it. It is an extremely interesting, again, opportunity cost of, do you risk it? If somebody told you go take steroids for 4 years, it could mess up the rest of your body, but in those 4 years, you go earn a big time contract. Would you do it? I don't know. It's a tough question. What you think about Haskins starting this week? Can Washington beat Seattle? Man, I think Washington can beat Seattle because of their front four defensive line. They're scary dudes. Haskins is talented, but Seattle is not confident going into that game by a long shot. They've been struggling as of late, even though the Washington Football Club, I keep wanting to still call them the Redskins, Washington Football Club is not having a great year. Nobody is going in there expecting a easy win. So I think the start is interesting. It's good to see him. It'll be good to get him some reps, but ultimately, if Seattle wants to be that playoff team, if Russell Wilson, who had MVP hopes this year, obviously that is not going to work out. But if Russell Wilson is who everybody believes he is, and I think he is, he's going to win these games. He's going to get his team a ticket to the dance. And ultimately, he's going to be one of those guys. So that'll be interesting. Was like Mike Leach really a lunatic, people will say? Was he into pirates and baboons, etc.? So I was never there with Mike Leach. I got to talk to him and know him while he was a Coug. Yes, he is a little kooky. He is into pirates, but more, he is an academic. Each year, he just takes a subject and a topic and begins to read about it. One year was pirates and swords and stuff, and so the media caught that and hyped it up and made it a good story. But really, he's just a curious person that wants to know a lot about a lot of things. And so that was kind of more what made him unique and interesting, because that's just not typical in the football world, I guess. Um, I'm going to play high school football next, but I have zero experience. Any tips next year? All right, D-Rock. Well, one, uh, it's a great choice. Football is going to teach you more about yourself than any sport, I believe, could. It's going to be a great camaraderie and bond. My advice would be, yeah, make sure you get a good helmet and learn that being timid, being kind of scared of contact is going to lead to injury. That's the most counterculture thing you could ever imagine. But the ones who are not going full speed, not going into hits and fearing them, are the ones who always end up getting more rattled. So I'm not saying be fearless, but fly around. The pads are there to protect you. Your body can endure a lot more than we think it can. So let it toughen you up. Can I ask what state do you live in now? Life after football. Hawkman J, absolutely. So I married a girl from Bellevue, Washington, which is about 7 miles outside of Seattle, Washington. And so we live in Bellevue, Washington, because I married a girl from here. But I'm Southern California at heart, and I get to go back and visit all my family down there from time to time. But right now, I'm located in Seattle, which is pretty good, man. Seattle's been going through a crazy boom of the last 10 years, and it's been a neat and interesting time to be up here. Did you ever block Brian Urlacher? I did. Talking about one of my concussions, Brian Urlacher gave it to me, which is a weird thing because I kind of liked it, because in high school, I was a middle linebacker. Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, like those are my dudes. Those are like, whoa. So yeah, we played Brian Urlacher. The weirdest thing was he is like 3 inches taller than you expect hitting a middle linebacker. He was 6'4", when a lot of them are like 6 foot, 6'1". So he was hard to get a good hit on. Where he gave me a concussion was I actually got like bottled up into a pile, and I didn't have the ball, but the ball carrier was we were all mushed up, and he just flew in. I mean, he was a maniac. He flew in and he hit me in the back of the head. So it wasn't really like a cool play, but we ran into each other a bunch of other times that day. But yeah, that one hit I remembered, because anytime you get hit in the, that's why a lot of wide receivers and people get shots, is shots that they like. I would hit people with the crown of my helmet. My mind was expecting it. The helmet's built that way. It's these hits that kind of ding you and mess with you. But yeah, Jason Miller. I also got to play on the Bears for a hot second, and Brian Urlacher was also really good at ping pong. And so one of my crowning moments was beating him in ping pong, and then he whooped me a bunch of other times, but he was really good at ping pong. Ted Stryker, that is great advice for D-Rock. Thank you. Strengthen your neck, no doubt. So there are a ton. You can get somebody to just push on the side of your head and rotate against them. Boom, do a lot of stretch. Now they have the 4-way neck rotations. I used to do bridges, like, you do bridges on your elbows. I used to do those just on my neck. But yeah, you can do it with a towel. Just anything you could do to strengthen that neck, get that stability, that's going to really help as you start to hit people. Ted Stryker, excellent advice. Cam Newton, welcome back, sir. Have you been on the east side of Washington? Been on the east side, babe. That's where Pullman is. Have I been there like in the last 8 months? No, because you're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to go anywhere. The state of Washington is still shut down. We do not want to have anyone leave their house. But yeah, Pullman, Spokane, even Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Moscow, Idaho. Those are my stomping grounds. I got good friends, a lot of people there. Cam Newton, D-Rock wants to holler at you. My bad, I didn't mean to at you. I'm hopefully going to be a 6'1" wide receiver freshman for my first year playing football. Ted Stryker, thanks, man. Yeah, Ted, that was great advice. Was Chris Tabor the special teams coach during your time in Chicago? He was my high school coach, or my college coach. No, it wasn't Chris Tabor. Who was the special teams coordinator? Maybe it was. I wasn't in Chicago for very long. I was in Chicago for about 6 weeks my rookie year. I'd have to look up who the decor or the special teams coordinator was. Welcome in, Chris Staler. Would you say you lived your dream? Ooh, Craig. So here is the beauty of this, why am on the mission I'm on. I not only lived my dream, I captured the dream. That is the biggest difference to me. I was an undrafted, I was a no-name guy. I got cut 12 times. And yet today I am more financially solvent and viable or stable than a lot of the guys I played with. Why? Because I began to educate myself, because I began to see the dream differently. So many of us, and Craig, this is a question to you. I'd love to see your comment. A lot of people grow up believing their dream. The NFL dream is to walk across the stage, be a first round pick, get to hold up the jersey, all that fun stuff. Or maybe your dream is to play, make a team, and to get into a game. But once you're there, and this is something I had to accept and start to realize, I had a veteran tell me one day, and I believe I shared the story with you guys. If I hadn't, I can. But he told me, he's like, man, Jed, you're still just a rookie trying to survive this thing. Like you're trying to earn your job, make the team in May and June, and then in August. And it's like, dude, for veterans, that is all get through time. The marathon begins September, game 1, week 1, and goes for 20 weeks. And so if we continue to tell ourselves our dream is to walk across the stage as a rookie, or our dream is to just make the team, our dream is to just get through the first season, that's not the dream. The dream of the NFL is to leave the game with memories and money. Like, let's not play. Money is part of the dream. And so what we needed to teach and empower young players and athletes to do is really understand that the dream was not to get here. The dream is to use this thing to springboard and take the rest of your life. So yes, I am very proud to say, again, I got cut a dozen times. That was not fun. But very proud to say I feel like I got to live, beyond the dream that I could have imagined. I never thought I'd make it to the NFL. Until my midway through my senior year of college, I didn't think I'd make it to the NFL. You play with any Hall of Famers besides Breeze? Oh yeah, man. Let's see. I think Donovan McNabb, maybe Brian Westbrook, Brian Dawkins for sure. That's the Eagles. I mean, the Bears, Brian Urlacher, Briggs will probably be a Hall of Famer. Who else was out there then? Devin Hester was there then. He may squeak in. Cleveland got to play Jamal Lewis. Got to play with Jamal Lewis. Who else was out there? Joe Thomas, left tackle for the Cleveland Browns for however long he wanted to hold that position. And then obviously for the Saints, man, Jimmy Graham would have been a Hall of Famer. Marcus Colston might squeak in. A guy named Jahri Evans is a guard there. Cam Jordan, don't sleep on Cam Jordan. Detroit and Ndamukong Suh might, he may not. Calvin Johnson will definitely be a Hall of Famer. You think, here's a good question. You guys think Reggie Bush will be a Hall of Famer? I got to play with him twice. Who else? That was a quick run off the top of my head, but any of those guys you think will be Hall of Famers or questionable? Do you prefer playing on grass or turf? I guess grass, but the reality about grass is by the midway to end of the season, it gets all ripped up. So it's not as pure as you'd think. Turf's getting better. Are there any conservatives in the NFL? Harder to come out as a conservative than as a potted plant. Yeah, there's a ton of conservatives in the NFL. Ton of guys. That's real. Are they as outspoken? Maybe not, but right in there. Inspirational, man. You the real G. Craig Stick. Craig Side Surf. Respect, bro. Appreciate that. And that's what we're here. We're going to talk some money here in a second. Are you Republican? I am, because I feel the Democrats tax unnecessarily. Cam Newton, great question. I see and try to see both sides of the coin. I see the positives and negatives of it. I bounce back and forth. I think taxes are absolutely necessary. I think extraordinary taxes are not necessary. But it's a fine line. And I'm not going to try to skirt the question, but I'm going to skirt the question. So it's, as I evolve, as I change as a man and as a father, my opinions, my thoughts change. For a while it was like, go as red as possible because, as an athlete, I don't want you to touch any of my money, give me my money. And then, you start seeing more of the world and realizing you got to help others. And then it's how much do we help and where's that line? These are not easy questions. I love that you asked, Cam, and I love that you came out. Hey, I'm a Republican, proud. That's what we need. I got head out, but thank you guys so much. Hey, appreciate you, D-Rock. Matt Forte, you think Forte? One, he's a good dude. He's a Louisiana kid, so I liked him. He had me over for gumbo. My dad's family's all Creole, so I liked Matt Forte. He was a really good guy. Super understandable, Cam Newton, D-Rock. Carl Nix. Man, Carl should have been a Hall of Famer. He won't. If he had a toe. He also had some contract stuff. If he would have stayed in New Orleans, stayed healthy, Carl would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Ursher, Reggie Bush. No, I don't think he'll be a Hall of Famer. Reggie Bush should have never had the Heisman taken. Yeah, Brody K, what's up? How many kids do you have? I got 2 little girls. So yeah, Reggie, I don't think Reggie had a Hall of Fame career. He was definitely famous. But I agree, man. The Heisman thing, you always hurt the people after the fact, and it's just like, what did that do? Did we win here? Can we hang out after the pandemic? I don't have any NFL player friends yet. Doc, man, for sure. You gonna come out here, or am I coming out visit you? You send me those plane tickets. I'll get out there and see where you're at. Ted, political answer. I liked it, but when you run for president, you'll have to pick a party. Well, I am Kurt. Say, oh, what's up, dude? How's it going, bro? When I run for president, I'm gonna create my own party. How about that? Would that work for you? All right. So as we get through it, one, keep the questions coming, keep the answers. Like, this is what we're here for. Create a community, create a conversation around, one, just creating, little social interaction in this weird time. Today, our big question, also, side note on this, I saw this, flipping through some stuff earlier. Walmart is going to do live shopping on TikTok now. So if you're throwing through and you see a Walmart ad, you can click in and buy it, apparently straight off this thing. So I thought that was kind of weird. I also saw Giannis, $228 million for 5 years. Would you stay in Milwaukee though? Here's the question. $228 million. Let's say I could go get 180, but go to a competitive team. Put that Browns helmet back up. Oh, Tulsa Tom. You may jinx us. I don't know how to tell you this. I feel like they just lost. So that's why I switched it. I changed it up. It's like in, if you ever seen it, great movie, Celtic Pride. Old school movie, like 90s movie. But check out Celtic Pride. It's good. Do you watch high school football in Washington? I do watch some high school football in Washington. It's, it's not California football. It's not Florida, Texas, but it's good and it's getting better and it's competitive. High school football is the best, period. No, put that Browns helmet back up. Maybe if Walmart sells some PS5s on here, normal people can finally get one. Nope. You had to wait 3 weeks out in the desert or the cold or something to get those things. I would say instead of 180 million, 48 extra million is so much. CFP track or asset management? Personally, if I was deciding DYL, if I was looking at, Jaden and Ariel just joined us. So if I was looking at them and saying, hey, not now, not right now, but over the next 10 years, do I feel like you are going to want me to manage your assets or build out a holistic plan to achieve your goals? I'm going to go with the plan, because I think we're proving time and time again that this asset management piece is extremely hard. If you can do it, you can make exorbitant amounts of money, but it is very, very difficult to do it time in and time out. So as I would look at it, the CFP opens a lot more doors, and that industry is growing as this industry is shrinking. Active managers are declining as CFPs, holistic managers, are increasing. So just looking at trends, I would go the CFP route, start to see and understand money from a holistic standpoint. When somebody comes to me and says, hey, how am I supposed to be investing? I have a variety of questions that have very little to do with the stock market or assets. It has to do with what is a financial plan and how do you look at it for today. So today we're going to ask the simple question: what is the stock? What is the bond? Why are we going to use these two to really produce the creation of our wealth? And as we look at this, we say, all right, if two friends were starting a business, two friends went and asked their moms and said, hey, I want to start a lemonade stand. Going to go open it on the corner, going to try to make some money, get some bucks that way. Their moms would look at them and say, friend one says, Mom, I love it. That's great. I'm going to let you borrow $5 to go open the lemonade stand, but I want you to pay me $1 each week. And at the end of 5 weeks, I want that money back. Friend two asks his mom and says, hey, I want to borrow $5. And she says, that's great. I don't want to borrow. I don't want to loan you $5. I will give you $5, but I want half of the company. I want to be 50-50 partners. Rask Gurley, I'm a holistic planner, and that last comment was spot on. Oh. People are like, hey man, does this guy know what he's talking about? And it's really hard on this platform in particular, but really on any of these. Does this person, what separates them? Where are they in this space of, floating heads and advice? I am a fundamental planner. I believe that is where the future is going. I believe that is how you can add the most value. If you want to create wealth and build a realistic plan, this is how you go about doing it. And that's what we're here to talk about. For real though, Dave Ramsey. Rask Gurley, Dave Ramsey, for 3 reasons, that is a compliment. Number one, I don't agree with everything Dave says. I don't think all debt is bad, yada, yada, yada. Dave is also 70 years old, or I don't know how old he is, but he's getting old. We need a new Dave Ramsey. The fact that your only comparison is Dave Ramsey is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Dave Ramsey is a horrible advisor. Oh, okay. No, there you go. So I took it the wrong way. But people say that all the time. They're like, oh, are you trying to be Dave Ramsey? I'm like, how do we not have another guy between a 30-year-old and a 65-year-old? There's nobody out there. That's why we're trying to do this. Do you think the Black Lives Matter movement would be more successful if it was sexier? Our cars, RCC. One, this is going to shock you. I'm part black. My dad's Creole, so I was raised believing we were half and half. I'm not probably percentage-wise actually half black. So I think Black Lives Matter is sexy, but I think what the movement is going to do is, one, you're never going to reach all people. You can never try to reach all people. The percentage that you're never going to be able to reach, stop trying. The percentage that didn't understand what was going on, I think became aware. I think that the blinder was removed. So I think in that regard, it was a massive, massive impact. I think now it is up to the community to gather and to really look at and see, what is the win? What do we want to do? I think one of them, and I get to talk to a lot of this community, especially, NFL players being young, successful black men. get your finances in order, and then go make the impact. That is the sequence. It can't be, I want to make it, I want to give, I want to give, I want to give, but then my personal is out of sync. So because this is my passion and my interest, that's where I think it starts, is how do we help people individually handle their own, and then really make the change, not politically, but socially. I don't think it's needs to be sexier. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I hope it continues to produce what it has already started. Rationally, Dave Ramsey isn't that smart. Yeah. Dave Ramsey is a brilliant marketer, though. Like, more respect to Dave. If you look at, starting a brand, a personal brand, getting a message, getting a voice out, the dude did it better than most. I mean, he's in the top 3 or 4 personal finance people of the last 50 years. So Dave is an excellent marketer. I just think we need to update it and get better. Advising for the masses. That's what we're trying to do. Can we build? So I was in wealth management. I built out hundreds of plans, and I came to realize we all need to take the first 30 steps. They're all the same. That is what blew my mind, was like, hey, at least the first 10, identical for every person in the world. Why aren't we teaching people this? I don't know. How old are your kids? Hope it is not personal. No, my kids are not. I mean, I love my kids. 6 and 4, so I'm just starting out. They're little boogers. John Kim, no way. I don't know which way John Kim's no way into. How big were you in high school to get recruited? Good question. So I was about my senior year, I was probably 6'2", 240 in high school. I was a thick dude, and then probably graduated around 250. And, that wasn't great weight. I was kind of chunky, but I'll still be able to move. I could still play basketball, and I was a middle linebacker. What do you think about Breeze returning so early? I hate it. Oh, I heard that, and I'm hoping. So here's having a little insight and a little knowledge of how these guys work. I think it's a distraction. Prepare all week for Drew Brees, then we're going to throw this guy out at you and kind of catch you off guard that way. So I'm hoping it is a ploy. Don't come back too early, Drew. Take it. I mean, come back week 1 of the playoffs. Maybe you get a bye week 1. Like, there's nothing to gain right now that's worth this risk. So personally, I wish he would sit for another week or 2. Welcome in the Bond 09. You're part black. Props to you, John Kim. John, we're getting to know each other, bro. Yeah, man. Like, I grew up, and I'm the whitest black person you'll ever see. But I have always believed, I go to a family reunion, and I'm the whitest person at the family reunion. What was cool about playing in New Orleans is people believed it. People were like, I got cousins that look like you. Like, Creole, yeah, you're in the mix. Because we're the first, at about 2000 was the first generation to really be like, well, how black are you? Like, what percentage are you? When my dad was raised, it was you were white or you were black. And it was not a fine line. It was most people were not considered white. And so he thinks it's very odd that I look the way I do and I've experienced life as I have, because he had the polar opposite. A lot of people look at him and saw a different thing. So it was kind of interesting. I think this is Drew's last year. I kind of get that vibe. When you start getting ribs and stuff like that. Michael Thomas is out too. He's injured. Wow. Yeah. Well, I thought you meant this was Michael Thomas's last year. I was like, damn, John Kim, that's a strong prediction. What was install week like when game plan didn't call for a fullback much at all? It was a bummer. Always a bummer. And I knew it, man. I would know Wednesday morning of how much I was going to play that week. But certain defenses, you look at it and say, they got a strong front 7. We're not going to be able to run the ball much. Put them in nickel. Let's try to scatter them around. So it was, being a fullback, you got to have that team mindset and be able to look at it and just say, whatever we got to do to go win. Would like to go out for a ton of mid-deep routes as a fullback. I always, everybody wants to do what they're not supposed to do. So who do I think will be the next quarterback in New Orleans? He's not there yet. That's my prediction. They'll go get somebody. But yeah, I always wanted to go out for routes. I was a pass catching tight end in college, so I had that in me, but I learned do job number one. That's the focal point. What is it that they hired you to do? What can you do better than everybody else on the team? You don't like Jameis or Taysom? I have no problem. Well, I played against Jameis for a few years. I like him as a person. I don't think he's a Super Bowl quarterback. No. Taysom's very interesting, and he's the Swiss Army knife, but it is so hard, and the only measurement is go win the Super Bowl. And if I am starting my team, is he my quarterback? I don't think so, at least not yet. Should Lawrence refuse to play for the Jets? First off, what's the cat's name? Wow, I just blanked. I was talking about this yesterday, too. Homeboy from the USC, they just drafted. Do you have a personal favorite team? Absolutely. I'm a Houdat. Saints, man, they changed my life. So, what is his name? Dang. But, no, I don't think you should refuse to play for the Jets. But it's not going to be a good situation. I'm back. What up, D-Rock? Welcome back. So, yeah, that's tough. You know, I know like Eli Manning did that stuff, but that's a really hard one. If he has the leverage to do it, maybe, but no, I think that's just not a precedent we should start. Heck no, because he will get a huge paycheck if he goes first overall. Sam Darnold, damn it, yeah. He's a USC kid, and he's from San Clemente, which was 10 minutes away from where I grew up. Sam Darnold. So, like, that's the crazy thing, man. They're just giving up on him that quick. But it's a measurement of, like, go get what you think is a once-in-a-lifetime talent, or, you know, give it up. In today's game, that will really show your character. Yeah, I think in today's world, it's like, do you want to be the guy who, you know, came in with a stick, you know, with just a bad taste? All right. So the difference between stocks and bonds. Let's go. You think the fullback position is ever making a full comeback? Yes, it goes in cycles. You know, in 2 years, you'll see 6 of the 8 playoff teams have fullbacks, and everybody will run out and go get one. Jags are the best head coach opening, true or false, given current talented skill players and quarterback at 2. I mean, the Jags have a good team. Yeah, obviously, I'd like him to go with Gardner Minshew being a kook, but that ain't going to happen. If I was a head coach, that's tough, man. I think the Bears have a good team. They don't have a quarterback. The Lions have a good quarterback, but don't have a good team. The Jags have talent. They're 1-15. Yeah. Going 1-15. I'm not really post on Instagram or Tick. Rask Gurley. NFL generation. I think the best opening is the Chargers. Did the Chargers fire their coach? They didn't fire their coach, did they? So we gotta get this wrapped up and get this in. I want you all to understand. Giants winning the division. Who about them Broncos? Strong. Vegas, man, it was tough to see the Raiders. Tough to see them. Good game. Nobody saw Herbert. Man, I saw him play a lot in college, and that is not the dude that was playing for the Ducks. Probably going to. Don't see how they keep Lynn. I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely underperformed, but I wouldn't. With all the other ones, now you're competing for your 3rd or 4th coach. That's just going to be tough. So the question of the day, we kind of lost it. We already have 50 minutes. Dang, we have 50 minutes already. All righty. Well, tomorrow is Saturday. We're going to go early Saturday, as we have in the past. We're going to go probably 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific. And tomorrow, we're going to double dip on investments. So tomorrow is going to be straight financial focused. We're going to talk about stocks, bonds. We're going to talk about index funds, mutual funds, and what they mean, how we categorize into that diversification piece. So come tomorrow with that financial cap on, financial questions, and we're going to hit it running. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock. If you haven't, go vote on my last post because I thought that was an interesting one we started talking about yesterday. Enjoy the day.